Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you are all well. You beautiful, beautiful, amazing, wonderful people. It's Saturday. That's it. It's the weekend. I know for some people, weekends don't mean shit. You're just, every day is the same. And for you people, I'm here for you. I know exactly how you feel. But anyway, if your day goes half as amazing as you look, you're on to a winner. But anyway, we're talking about elephants in the room today because I feel that there is a bit of an elephant in the room. We've seen these recent court docs, haven't we? God, I love headphones. Seen these recent court docs and, you know, we speculated over what they mean. Do you know what I mean? And I think, for me, it seems that this protection is all about protecting. We're protecting people. It seems to me that Brian Coburn, they're not bothered about protecting Brian Coburn. He's been thrown to the wolves long ago. They give it some lip service, like they are bothered, you know what I mean, with the cameras in the courtroom and talking about how the media present themselves and so on. Maybe there is some sort of, they have to play the game a little bit, but in the grander scheme of things, in my honest opinion, I feel that this is about protecting the integrity of the victims. Because I think people have this unwritten rule that when something bad happens to people, this bubble appears around them. They have to be protected. You have to protect them no matter what. We saw a very similar situation in the Michael Vaughan case, for those of you who are familiar with that case. This was a little boy who tragically went missing. We believe at the moment that there's a strong possibility that he is deceased. There's a lot going on in that case, but he's missing. He's missing. Officially, he's missing. And a lot of us felt that was a child who went missing that could have been prevented. But we weren't allowed to say anything about it because it was an atrocity. A child went missing and parents, they suffered because of it. And I don't want to take away the suffering. You know, they did suffer and I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. But the elephant in the room there is that ultimately that was avoidable. And in the Idaho 4 case, we've got some victims who, it's about protecting them, because as soon as you find out something about them that a lot of people are, again, we go back to Steve Gonsalves' words, that some people could potentially find gross, it kind of opens up people's thought processes and they start then thinking, hold on a second, if you was involved in this, like we've spoken about narcotics briefly, and even though I struggle to believe that this is a narcotics related event, and I have toyed with the idea because we know that not just one but multiple parents and step-parents in these families were involved in the narcotic world at different levels. You know, Xana Knodle's mum, Cara, for instance, was heavily involved in that world, and she has suffered tremendously because of it. And on top of that, the loss of a child. So again, it's happening, and it does make you think, look, the reality is there can be backlash and there can be situations where people suffer because of it. We've seen other crimes that are as simple as someone losing their life over a vape, for instance, we saw very recently. But with the Idaho 4 case, we've got to step back a little bit and say, okay, if you want to say that this was a targeted attack, why was it targeted? Why was it targeted then? Because these victims weren't extraordinary. They weren't, you know, something that would stick out in a crowd. They were just students on a campus amongst 11,000+ others, a house that was in an abundance of other houses. So why this house? So you have to consider that there was something going on. They were involved in something that broadened the horizons, that made them perhaps dip their toes in things that would get them seen. And with those things, there could be potential risks involved. And we have touched on things like, you know, adult things, different potentials. That comes in many different ways, shapes, or forms. And this is not accusatory. I'm just saying that there has got to be a reason that this happened. And what was that reason? Is this going to be about a story of the risks out there and what different things pose in terms of risks to young adults? Is this going to indeed, and we alluded to this, I believe it was yesterday, is this going to indeed be a digital trial? Is there going to be a footprint that is going to be what nails Brian Kohberger to the wall? Because I personally feel, and we've said this previously, we have said it, and, I did a video that was what would I need to see, and I would need to see a digital footprint that was undeniable, that Brian Kohberger did have a connection to these victims. He was indeed interacting with them on a certain scale that would show that his advances were being deflected. He was being ignored, or something had got to a point and he was being rebuffed, and there was an issue with that. If I saw that, that would be hard to come back from. And I feel that this is almost what we're looking for now. We are looking for somebody who was indeed upset because of something that had happened around this property. Now, that is one of two things, and that is either this fight escalating into something way beyond what it started, and it got out of hand, and that can happen. Anybody who wants to stick their head in the sand and believe it doesn't, I've seen it firsthand. I've been involved in it. I've stopped people from hurting other people who are involved in steroid use, and things escalated into where they could have been a lot worse, and we'd have been seeing videos of that crime on here. And then we have a situation when we've got girls as well. We've got girls that could be involved in OnlyFans, so on and so forth. And that then opens up their world to other people. And this could have potentially been where somebody wanted to cover up a relationship. They were getting involved with a female, and they didn't want that to get known. Do you know what I mean? We look at Chris Watts, for instance. Look at that. That was a horrendous crime. But it seems to be that the catalyst was a relationship on the side. And he wanted to remove his current family to pave the way into another life. But things happen. And things always happen for a reason. So this bubble that seems to be a bubble of protection, that protection is protecting the victims from the public in terms of what happened, what were they involved in, what did they do for this to happen to them. And look, what I'm not going to sit here and say is what happened to them they deserve in any way, shape or form, because that's not the case. They did not deserve, I repeat, they did not deserve to have what happened to them happen to them. The reality is this is a cruel, fucked up world that we live in. And sometimes when you dip your toes in the waters of certain seas, sharks are going to come. What do you think happened? Are we ever going to find out the truth? Let me know down below, and I'll catch you all in the next one.